He could have gone anywhere, yet he chose Arsenal.
Good news for Arsenal supporters because they're closing in on signing Martín Zubimendi.
For over a year, Real Madrid kept tabs on him. Liverpool thought they had him.
Liverpool now and their midfield target Martín Zubimendi has decided to stay at Real Sociedad.
But in the end, Martín Zubimendi became a gunner. It's not the first time a Spanish central midfielder has found a home in North London. Cesc Fabregas lit up the Emirates. Mikel Arteta brought calm and class before eventually taking the reins as manager. And even Mikel Merino has had some unforgettable moments in the red and white.
What a fantastic finish from Mikel Merino!
Arsenal and Spanish midfielders just clicked. And Zubimendi isn't just any normal midfielder. In the Euro 2024 final, he replaced Rodri. Yes, Rodri, a Ballon d'Or contender, arguably the best midfielder in the Premier League. And yet somehow when he left the pitch and Zubimendi entered, the Spanish midfield got even better. Zubimendi outshone Bellingham. He shut down Declan Rice. That's the level we're talking about. Arsenal aren't just signing a good player, they're signing a maestro. With all the hype around this guy, who is Zubimendi and how good can Arsenal be with him? To understand Zubimendi's strengths and what he brings to Arsenal, we have to look back at his journey. Because before he was bossing midfields on the international stage, before the links to Liverpool, the praise from Xabi Alonso, or the 60 million euros transfer to Arsenal, Zubimendi was just a quiet kid from San Sebastian with a football at his feet and a dream in his heart. That is where it all began. From an early age, he kicked the ball around the local youth club Antioquia, the same small club that produced fellow San Sebastian midfielders like Xabi Alonso years before. Zubimendi was a quiet, determined boy who dreamed of wearing the blue and white of his hometown team, Real Sociedad. He joined Real Sociedad's academy at just 12 years old. Growing up, Zubimendi looked up to Alonso as a role model. He would watch recordings of Alonso's games and try to copy his calm passes and clever positioning. At the academy, the coaches quickly saw something special. Zubimendi always seemed to be in the right place. He wasn't the fastest and he didn't stand out physically, but he was smart, like really smart. He understood the game better than most kids his age. He learned to play as a holding midfielder, the guy who keeps everything ticking, always ready to receive the ball, always thinking one step ahead. By 17, Zubimendi was already playing for Real Sociedad's C and B teams. He moved up step by step, learning from each level, growing with every match. Then something incredible happened. His childhood hero, Xabi Alonso, came back to the club. Alonso became the coach of the B team, just as Zubimendi was starting to break through. Suddenly, the player that he had studied for years was now standing in front of him, giving him advice, guiding him on the pitch. A pretty surreal experience. It's like me meeting my idol, Johnny Sins. Alonso became more than just a coach for Zubimendi. He became a mentor. Under his watch, Zubimendi took another big step forward, getting closer and closer to the Real Sociedad first team. By April of 2019, all the hours of hard work and quiet determination finally paid off. Zubimendi was 20 years old when he made his first team debut for La Real. He came on as a late substitute in a La Liga match, stepping onto the pitch, wearing the shirt he had dreamed of since he was a kid. It was a special moment. Imagine playing for the club you grew up loving, in the city where you were born. But it was just the beginning. Over the next year, Zubimendi kept growing. He didn't try to do too much. He stuck to the fundamentals, keeping the ball moving, staying calm under pressure, and always making the smart pass. Garnacho could learn a thing or two. As time went on, Zubimendi's confidence grew, and so did his playing time. Then came the 2020-2021 season, and everything changed. That year, Zubimendi became a key player in Real Sociedad's midfield. Now he wasn't just a part of the team, he was actually an important member. He was the one who dictated the tempo in the middle of the park, and as a result, the team went on a historic run. In April of 2021, Real Sociedad won the Copa del Rey, their first major trophy in over 30 years. It was a moment the club and its fans had waited decades for, and there was Zubimendi, the hometown kid, right in the middle of it all. Arteta saw this Real Sociedad team and I guess he just loved it, because he's been trying to recreate it in London. He has 3 players from it already, Odegaard, Merino, and Zubimendi. All he needs is Isak. Lifting that trophy wasn't just a win, it felt like a reward for every step of Zubimendi's journey, from the fields of Antioquia to the heart of the Real Sociedad midfield. By 2021 and 2022, Zubimendi was one of the best midfielders in La Liga. He was still young, but he played like someone with years of experience. Every pass, every moment, every decision, he made it all look so easy. Like I said, this isn't a guy who does flashy tricks or screams for attention. efficient, but if you watch closely, you see his genius. He was always in the right place, always keeping the game under control. Basically the opposite of Bruno Fernandes. The guy he's most similar to realistically is Sergio Busquets. You're not gonna see Zubimendi dominating the highlight reels, but everyone around him will know his value. And that's exactly what happened. People started to take notice, especially the coaches of the Spain national team. They began to see him as the next big thing, a possible successor to Sergio Busquets, a player who could control a match from deep and then lift the level of everyone around him. Then, out of nowhere, came his first opportunity with the Spain national team. In June of 2021, just before the Euros, Spain's main squad had a COVID outbreak and had to isolate. The coaches scrambled to find replacements and called up a group of under 21 players. Zubimendi was on a camping trip in France when he got the call. Without hesitation, he packed up and rushed back. Soon after, he made his senior debut in a friendly against Lithuania, and even though it was a last-minute high-pressure situation, Zubimendi stayed calm, like he always does. He didn't panic. He didn't try to be the hero or prove himself. He just played his game and showed that he did belong at the highest level. After that debut, Zubimendi became a regular in Spain's pool of rising stars. That same summer, he was chosen to represent Spain at the Tokyo Olympics. He helped the under-23 team all the way to the final and came home with a silver medal. It was another step forward in his journey, another big moment. Back at club level, he kept shining. In 2023, he helped Real Sociedad qualify for the Champions League, a massive achievement for the club. Slowly but surely, his reputation was growing across Europe. But throughout all the praise and attention, Zubimendi never changed. He stayed humble, he stayed focused. Haaland's gonna love him. In an interview, someone asked him what makes a good defensive midfielder, and this was his answer. You have to have enough humility to devote yourself to the team, he said. The first thing is the collective. That's just who Zubimendi is. He's not the type of guy to chase the spotlight. He plays to make the team better. A moment that captures that perfectly was in March of 2022, when Zubimendi scored his first ever La Liga goal against Alaves.
His first goal in La Liga for the club.
It wasn't a flashy finish, but the joy on his face said it all. This was a player who gave everything, and in that moment, you could see how much it meant. Arsenal fans should love him. He's a quiet leader, a team player. He's always working, he's always improving. So you might be asking yourself, Peg, this is a nice journey, but why did so many clubs want this guy, and how does he actually help Arsenal? Well, Arsenal now have one of the best midfield pivots in the world with the partnership of Rice and Zubimendi. The reason that every team wanted this guy is because it's very difficult to find central midfielders who can set the rhythm for a team. If you watch him for a full 90 minutes, you'll notice he's always in the right place at the right time, keeping possession, finding gaps with simple passes. He is a defensive midfielder. He can play as a sole pivot, he can play with someone else, but although he's a defensive midfielder, he's not a destroyer in the traditional sense. He doesn't rely on crunching tackles or sheer physicality. He uses his brain. He dictates the tempo through his incredible passing, and he has excellent understanding of space. It's exactly why so many people always saw him as the eventual successor for Busquets. And to be honest, he doesn't need to be a destroyer at all, because winning duels and putting in crunching tackles are things that Declan Rice already does at an elite level. They will complement each other very well. With Jorginho gone and Partey showing that he's on his way down, the Gunners wanted to beef up their midfield. And who better than a guy who can easily play as the 6? Someone that will allow Rice to push even more forward if he wants to. In many ways, Zubimendi is Jorginho who can dribble. He has the same press resistant quality that the Italian had. No matter how many players swarm him, he rarely panics. With a drop of the shoulder or a clever turn, he easily slips away from pressure. All he needs is a quick one-touch pass or a little feint to beat the press and open up space. His ability to receive the ball on the half turn under intense pressure and still escape and find a teammate is a priceless asset. I mean, I can't tell you how many midfielders at the highest level still can't do this consistently. This means that Arsenal can play out from the back very confidently, knowing that Zubimendi will always offer himself as a safe outlet. Because as much as I love Rice, yes, I'm talking about the player, although I do like the dish as well, receiving passes consistently on the half turn isn't necessarily one of his specialties. He can do it, but he can't do it at the levels that we have seen from Zubimendi. And as a central midfielder, this is an important asset. You gotta be able to turn. It's why I hated watching Casemiro even in his prime. Brother's second touch was always a tackle. Zubimendi's passing range is another key weapon in his arsenal. You guys like what I did there? Because he's joining Arsenal? I'll show myself out. He's not a Hollywood passer who will hit a 60-yard cross-field ball at every opportunity. Like I said before, he's not that flashy type of player. In fact, by his own admission, he's still adding more long passes to his game, but his distribution is efficient and it has purpose. He knows how to break the lines and find the open space to actually progress the ball. He doesn't just make passes for passes' sake. After all, the guy is Spanish. Even frickin' Ceballos was good on the ball in the Premier League for Arsenal. Oftentimes, you'll see Zubimendi drop deep between his center backs to collect the ball and then fire require a quick pass through the midfield that takes out several opponents at the same time and finds his teammate in space. A lot of these movements won't be seen on a stat sheet because it's not going to directly lead to an assist, but these passes are what start dangerous moves, and when the moment is right, he can ping an accurate diagonal ball to switch the play. Defensively, Zubimendi is all about anticipation and positioning. He reads the game like a chess player. As I said earlier, this is not a player who relies heavily on physicality. Rather than diving into reckless challenges, he often notices danger before it even happens, and he will intercept passes by being exactly where the ball is headed before even the opponent realizes it. Now, of course, this doesn't mean he's a softie when it comes to duels. In La Liga, he still won a high percentage of his duels, despite the fact that he isn't super physical. I mean, if you saw this guy with normal clothes on the street, you would not think he's a professional footballer. In 2022, he was ranked in the top 5 players in La Liga for ground duels and aerial duels. He was doing the same thing in the Champions League. Of course, naturally, there is going to be a period of adjustment for him because players have said that the Premier League is very fast. It's a lot easier to be calm in La Liga than it is when you're playing Newcastle away and are getting pressed by Samba Man and Lasagna Man. But there's no chance this guy doesn't figure it out. He's too intelligent. And I mean, Jorginho is pretty much living proof that with footballing IQ, you can outplay anybody even if they are faster and stronger than you. Like, Jorginho was genuinely slow as a snail, and yet at one point he was a Ballon d'Or contender. What Zubimendi lacks physically will also be made up for by the fact that his partner is Rice. One thing that makes Zubimendi really stand out is that he's always aware of the structure of the team. So if a teammate charges forward or is caught out of position, Zubimendi will instinctively fill that gap, the same way that I want to fill Lily Phillips' gaps. The fact that he has this tactical discipline and knowledge is so impressive because it allows him to anchor the entire team and make sure that the shape is intact. You guys know that iconic quote from Del Bosque about Busquets, that if you watch the game you might not notice Busquets, but if you watch Busquets you see the whole game? Well, I know it's a cheesy quote, but Zubimendi's that kind of player. Sometimes when I watch Partey, I thought I was watching a gazelle learn how to walk, but I guess that's a convo for a different day. Arteta clearly has a plan for the Spanish midfielder. It almost feels like destiny in a way. Arteta himself was a San Sebastian born midfielder who came through the ranks at Real Sociedad. So who knows? Maybe Lego Head sees a bit of his younger self in Zubimendi. Arteta's Arsenal has been evolving into a very dynamic, possession-oriented team, and I think he's been on the lookout for a player who could anchor the midfield for years. Arteta clearly wanted a press-resistant, technically sound midfielder, and in Zubimendi, he saw the perfect fit. And it seems like so did every other team because this guy's been in transfer news for years. Liverpool were favorites to sign him in the summer of 2024 and Zubimendi said no. I guess it's hard to leave the beautiful Basque region for the grey streets of Liverpool. Well, fast forward and now the midfielder is more than happy to leave that place to come to Arsenal. The Gunners midfield trio looks good. You got Odegaard who can provide the creativity, Rice who can carry the ball, he can give you goals but also cover ground, and then now you have Zubimendi, the quad conductor. His awareness and unselfish play will be so key for this team, and his intelligence, it'll be a breath of fresh air. Now, I felt like Arsenal needed a left winger or a midfielder who was more like a number 8. But I guess Zubimendi does fix the midfield issue because with him now on the team, Rice has the freedom to get forward. And as we saw in the 2024 season, he's pretty good in that number 8 role. He will get you goals, he will get you assists. For Zubimendi individually, joining Arsenal is the start of a brand new chapter in his amazing story. He began as a quiet kid, just dreaming of being a hero for Real Sociedad, and now he's making the leap to one of the biggest clubs in England. It does seem like something out of a movie. I do think Arsenal fans are gonna love him. He brings so much more than just talent. He brings the values he grew up with: humility, teamwork, and a strong work ethic. He's never been one to show off. He just works hard, plays smart, and puts the team first. Expect to get a player who will fight for the badge, just like he did for his hometown clubs. And this guy's not just a player, he's a student of the game. Reports indicate that he spent hours watching matches, studying his position, and I feel this kind of dedication will help him adjust quickly to the pace and pressure of the Premier League. Now, Zubimendi is just another piece in the massive jigsaw puzzle that is Mikel Arteta's Arsenal project. To see what Arteta's plan is for the Gunners, you gotta check out this video right here.